Hi, I'm here today with Charlotte Pascoe, CEO of Stockdale Leggo. Charlotte, can you tell us a little bit about your daily responsibilities and tasks as CEO?
To be perfectly honest with you, it changes every single day. No 2 days are the same, so it's really just a little bit of proactive, organising what needs to happen, and then dealing with whatever comes through the door.
Oh, let's keep you pretty busy, I assume. What made you get into the industry?
Funny story, I tried everything. I was about 21 years old and I tried absolutely everything possibly known in kind. Couldn't work out what I wanted to do. And I spoke to my mum and she said, I think you'd be really good at real estate. So I opened up the yellow pages, which shows probably a bit how old I am. I opened up the yellow pages, chose a brand that I knew, chose an area that I liked, gave them a call and said, I'd love to have a go. And they said, interesting that you called today. We just had a meeting about needing to get a new receptionist and splitting one of the roles in half. Do you want to come in for an interview? And that was 24 years ago.
And was that here?
No,
Whereabouts?
in South Yarra.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
And just finally, what advice would you give to people that are looking to get into the industry just as you were so many years ago?
So many years ago. Thanks. I would just suggest that everyone who wants to get into real estate needs to come in with an open mind. They need to be willing to learn and work hard.
Amazing. Charlotte, can you share a particularly challenging situation that you've experienced as CEO and how you've navigated that situation?
Yeah, sure. I think the biggest challenge that I've experienced as CEO was stepping into the role of CEO. It doesn't come with a manual. There's no job description. You don't know really how things have to run or need to run. So it's very much about understanding what we have and then understanding what we want it to be like. So when I stepped in, I guess I took to everything with a blank piece of paper, which is how we continually look at business. What should it be? Just because we've got 15 things that are already in place doesn't mean that they're right necessarily. So it's been a case of rebuilding bit by bit what we want Stockdale and Leggo to look like. And I think with that, the key part of all of that has been being really authentic to who we are as a brand, who I am as a leader, and making sure that the cultural piece sits in and that's the foundation of all the decisions we make. What do we want this business to feel like for the people working here, for the people out there in the marketplace as well, and how do we best support our agents to be successful faster?
Yeah, amazing. On that, how would you best describe your leadership style and how do you think that that's contributed to the success of Stockdale and Leggo?
I think in terms of leadership, I'd like to think that I'm approachable. I always have an open door. I believe that for a true leader, you've really got to make sure that your people are at the forefront of every decision that you make, which means you have to make sure that they can always pick up the phone. They can always, I get everyone within our organisation, receptionists, property managers, doesn't matter. Anyone can pick up the phone and have a conversation with me. And I think as well as that, in terms of the way that we operate at a corporate level, everyone is equally as important as the next person. I surround myself with the smartest, most amazing staff. I am very quick to openly say what I'm not good at, which I think that vulnerability probably puts me in a better stead to be able to get places faster because I'm not trying to protect something that I'm not quite sure of. It's a case of this is what I know, this is what I don't know. How do we get these people to fill those gaps? And then by bringing them in, empowering them and allowing them to be autonomous.
Incredible. Charlotte, how do you approach change and innovation within Stockdale and Leggo, especially in an industry that's constantly evolving?
I employ the smartest people that I can find, I'll be totally honest with you. I think there are so many things and they continually change all of the time. Technology being something that our industry is not always great at utilising. There's so many different prop tech options out there and so many of them double up. And so for us, it's been a case of understanding what we're trying to achieve and then spending the time with the right people to then understand what our prop tech solution needs to look like. So what's the tech stack that we're going to put into these businesses? And then making sure that we're continually revisiting that. So if we have an understanding, let's say, for example, on a lead generation tool, instead of sitting there and saying, well, this is what we've got, we're putting our stake in the ground and saying, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like for now. We know that with the speed at which technology is moving, in 3 months' time, there might be a better option or there might be a new option that didn't exist. So continually revisiting these all of the time, having good, solid conversations with people. And then, as I said, getting the smartest people around to do the competitive analysis and then help us getting it into place.
Yeah, amazing. Stockdale and Leggo emphasize a really strong company culture. Can you talk a little bit about what culture means to you?
Absolutely. I think culture, something I've heard that I really believe in is the people are your culture. Culture is how you feel when you're in that environment. If you've got psychological safety, do you feel like you're empowered? Do you feel like you have the ability to be successful? Do you have somewhere to go if something's not feeling right? Can you be really vulnerable and open as who you are? But also, does that culture really push you to be the best that you can be? So are you in a high performance culture? And for us, it's been very much about understanding what's important about culture. When I joined Stockdale and Leggo 4 or 5 years ago, it was something that stood out was the culture was underlying in the people. It's people talk about family businesses and all of that sort of thing, but the genuine care for each other within this organisation blew me away. I've worked for some amazing companies, but it's something that really resonated with me, and it's been really beautiful to go on the journey with these franchisees and the staff over the last 5 years.
Yeah, amazing. On that, based on your experience, what do you think are some key qualities that will help franchises succeed in this industry, and taking into consideration how important culture is to Stockdale and Leggo?
Yeah, I think for anyone to be successful in business, you've got to really make sure that you're clear on who you are, you're really authentic with that, and you have a key focus on getting the culture right. You got to look after your people. For example, if things are right at home, then they're usually going to be better at work, and vice versa. If they're not so great at home, how are you supporting those people? Because if they come in and they feel like they've got the capacity, like I was saying earlier, they've got the capacity to be really successful, then all of a sudden you can build. If people feel empowered and if people feel like they can take initiative and they can go forth and do these amazing things, then they're more likely to do that if you give them the ability and the freedom to do so. I think collaboration is another really important piece for me that I never proclaim to have all the answers. So when we're making any decisions, it's finding the right people who can contribute and feel like they're part of it, because what the information and the ideas that they bring to the table help me make the right decisions, but it also makes them aware that they are part of what we're doing and why we're doing it. And I think it's just being really clear around expectations for people, so we know what we're trying to achieve. And if we know what we're trying to achieve, then if I'm falling short of that as an employee, I know I've got to pick up my game. If you set some clear benchmarks of what you want to achieve and you exceed them, well, you've got a beautiful feeling of going above and beyond. So I think, yeah, it comes down to that accountability, having a really good culture, setting clear expectations on people, and giving people the freedom to be the best that they can be.
Yeah, amazing. I think you touched on just very briefly then like a work-life balance, which is clearly very important to you and important for you, for your team. How do you ensure that your team is getting a healthy work-life balance, and not only your team, but, you know, the whole of Stockdale and Leggo?
I will be really honest. It's something that I have to work really hard on, is getting the balance. I know it's important, but I think so often we get caught up in the day-to-day that we forget the things that we're meant to do for ourselves. So that's something I have to work on. But I'm very good at making everyone else do it. So do as I say, not as I do is probably my mantra when it comes to that. I think it's, for me, with the team particularly, it's working out, if, some of our staff, for example, have to pick up the kids from school. Totally fine. If you don't get in the office until 9:15 because you had to drop them at school, that's absolutely fine. Because we've given them the freedom and the flexibility and empowerment, and the deliverables are phenomenal from the team that we're doing, then it's a give and take scenario for us. That's probably...
Yeah, no, great answer. Charlotte, what are some important qualities that you look for when building a team?
I think the most important quality is identifying what I'm not very good at and making sure they're really good at that, because we don't need any more me's in this business. There's already a place for me. But it's really when building the team, and we really have built this team from the ground up, is understanding what we want to achieve, being really clear on the goals for the business, what we need to put in place to get there, and then finding the right people to do that. So there's that side, but also I think in complementing that is also getting the right people. And if you hire the right person, then you can teach them anything. And so for us, it's about giving everybody the opportunity and finding the people that want to take the opportunity. So finding those like-minded people who do have the skill set. But as I said, I'm very quick to say this is not my wheelhouse. So finding the people that really excel in those areas.
Yeah, perfect. Amazing. Charlotte, looking back over your 23 plus years of experience, what is the biggest shift that you've witnessed within the industry?
I think it's a combination of client expectations and technology, and they sort of go hand in hand. I think technology has given clients a lot more information, so their expectation is a lot higher. I think the immediacy that's come out of technology, people want an answer now. It used to be a case of I'll leave a message and maybe get a call back tomorrow. Now it's a case of, well, if I can't get you, then I'll text message or I'll do internet inquiries. So I think collectively the way that technology has really pushed forward what's at the fingertips of our clients and what they now expect, that's probably been the biggest shift. I don't think it's a negative thing. I think it's just something that everybody's had to adapt to. And the people that have really understood that and taken it within their strides, I think they're the ones that have been successful and will continue to be successful.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Charlotte.